Hello, survivors. Welcome back to the State of Decay 2 stream. I'm your host, Geoffrey, and it has been quite some time since we've chatted. We've all been very busy over here doing stuff that we kind of can't talk about. But while we've been busy over here working on State of Decay 3, Wushu Studios has been working very hard on Update 37. And so that is why we're here. We're here to highlight Update 37 and particularly to focus on one of the main things that we wanted to do with Update 37, which is bring the Bloodmobile to a new level of awesomeness. We're doing, as we've always done every summer for the past little while, we're doing a collaboration with the Red Cross to try to get out, people to donate blood during one of the driest months of the year. And so we have amped up the presence of the Bloodmobile and all of its associated paraphernalia in the game. So we're going to be trying to check that out today, or at least to talk about it. But we should, before we get started, introduce our guests. And let's start with April Phillips. April Phillips is here from the American Red Cross. April, our audience is from all over the place. Some of them might not even know what the American Red Cross is. Do you want to introduce yourself and, the organization you work for, what you're all about?
Absolutely. I'm April Phillips. I'm the Marketing Communications Director for the American Red Cross. The International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement is comprised of about 192 member organizations around the globe, and our aim is to prevent and alleviate human suffering. Here in the United States, that comes in a number of different ways. People might be familiar with disaster services, with our service to the armed forces. What I'm here to talk about today is blood donation and our partnership with State of Decay.
Yeah, so we're going to get into all the details of that while we're playing the game. Thank you so much for being here, April, though, because, April knows a ton about this stuff. She could talk all day about blood donation and just sort of the importance and difference that you can make by doing it, so we'll be spending a lot more time talking to her. But before we get into all of that, let's also introduce our other two guests. We got John Hollingworth and Ian Farnan from Wushu Studios. I can't say the name. I just sounded like I was singing a Phil Collins song. Wushu Studios. Welcome. John, Ian, you want to introduce yourselves? Tell the fine people what you do.
Hello, my name is John Hollingworth. I'm a lead designer here at Wushu Studios, and I'm working on State of Decay 2.
Yeah, I'm Ian Farnan. I'm a technical designer here at Wushu, and been hard at work on this update.
Yeah, so as all of you probably know, Wushu has basically taken over development on State of Decay 2, and so everything that you're about to see, like in the actual game, was made by these two and their team over there in Liverpool. And the reason we're doing this early in the morning, America time, is because we wanted to get their expertise in here. So really appreciate you two showing up. Let's have a look at gameplay. So I just got a new mission, an infestation situation, but actually the thing that I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping for is that we can see the Bloodmobile mission. So your team, John and Ian, you implemented a set of brand new missions, a whole new mission arc into the game that is about finding and repairing and unlocking the Bloodmobile. It used to just be a radio command that we would turn on during certain months in the summer, but now it's something a lot bigger. I actually spent a couple hours this morning trying to get the mission to spawn, but, it's a random number generator. You can never really predict it. And one reason it might have failed is because I got so many freaking plague hearts on this map. So what I'm going to be doing during the game right now is running around trying to take out some of these infestations and plague hearts to try to make room for that mission to spawn, if we're very lucky. Chances are it won't happen, though. So if it doesn't happen, this fine. We'll just talk about what's in that mission and what other advances have been made in the game. So I'm going to head down maybe towards this infestation that's threatening my base. And while we're playing, let's actually talk a little bit with April about what's going on. So we've got this promotion going on right now, trying to encourage people out there to give blood. Do you want to sort of let the audience, give the audience a rundown on the details of how this works?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've partnered with State of Decay and Undead Labs for a couple of years now. It started back in August 2020. In the midst of the pandemic, you all really showed up and stepped up and helped us bring in 64,000 new donors in August of 2020. And from there, it was just so clear how our missions and our purpose align. In State of Decay, folks rely on each other. You come together to support each other. And in real life, blood donation is an incredible way that folks can do that to help patients, whether it's a car accident, childbirth, whatever it might be. This year, our partnership once again takes place in August. Geoffrey, you mentioned at the start of the call that August is a really, really tough time for us. It's one of the most difficult times to mobilize blood donors to help support the blood supply. And right now is no different. I mean, we already have a critical need for blood donors, so this comes at a really good time. Through the partnership in the month of August, those who come out to give will be entered to win one of 3 really awesome prize packages. The first prize package is an 4th gen Intel i7 core processor with a limited edition skinned gaming mouse. The second package is the same processor, but custom skinned limited edition AirPods Max. And then the third package is a Xbox Series X console with a controller. So really, really cool prizes. Really fantastic way to help mobilize the State of Decay universe to help support blood donations in August.
So yeah, and actually, the URL that you can go to if you want to, sign up to give blood and be involved in this contest is redcrossblood.org/SOD. We put that at the bottom of the screen here. But also, anytime you're in the game, all you have to do is pause, and there's a QR code that you can scan to go to the same site. So we're really trying to make it possible for anybody who plays the game to very easily go and participate in this. And actually, one thing I should show you is that we have got right here one of those processors that we've been talking about. There's Intel really stepped up and offered just of their own because of their own passion for this this cause. They offered us 3 of these processors. So 2 of them she listed were in a couple of those prize packages, the one that are sort of aimed at PC gamers. But I've got a 3rd one right here. And what we're planning to do is give this one away at the end of the stream. So if you're in the chat right now, stick around to the end because that's when we're going to be doing a giveaway. But you have to pay attention because when we give it away, this is not just going to be, just type !enter and you're automatically going to be entered in the thing. You actually have to pay attention to what April is saying over the course of this live stream. She is going to be giving you a bunch of information about blood donation, and I'm going to be asking a trivia question at the end of this. And you have to be one of the first couple of dozen people who chime in with the right answer in order to be eligible to get this processor. So pay attention to our conversation with April, and hopefully you'll get a chance to win this thing. So let's hop back into gameplay real quick before we go any further. Update 37 has made a couple of important changes. I'm not sure why this guy's following me. Oh, because I'm on a mission with him, that's why. Update 37 has made some important changes, and one is, you'll notice how dark it is at night. Like, I've got my headlights pointed at the next infestation I want to fight. But the rest of this world is really, really hard to see, especially with this big white border providing contrast around this live stream. But even then, it's really hard to see. But tell us what you've done in update 37, John.
Yeah, so this update contains like a myriad of pretty cool stuff. I mean, firstly, as you've already mentioned, to help promote the urgency and need for blood donations, we created a new special enclave with missions centered around that cause. And with those missions, unlocking a bunch of cool cosmetic rewards, which Ian will be able to describe in a bit more detail later.
Actually, if you want to talk about that first, we totally can. I've actually got some images that I can throw up on the screen right here. For instance, this new T-shirt right here. Do you want to walk us through sort of the prizes that you get for, like, if you can get the blood donors missions to spawn and go through the whole blood mobile mission arc? These are some of the prizes that you can get.
Yeah, so there are 3 new outfits, cosmetics. 2 of them were designed by our very own Lucy at Wushu. This one being the Blood Donor T1, and then there's also the Blood Nurse, Blood Doctor.
Which I actually think I failed to grab an image of it. I thought I grabbed 2 T-shirt images, not realizing they were the same T-shirt. So that's on me. You're all going to have to go and discover the other one by yourselves. But we've also got this.
Yeah, so this one is the Blood Donor's Jacket / EMT jacket. And then, yeah, as part of the Enclave, the new Enclave arc, it's 6 missions long, 7 depending on, if you fail some of the missions around it. But by the end of it, and you'll be getting drip fed these rewards throughout that arc. So like 2 3, 4, 5, like you'll unlock a reward for each one of them, as well as like new enclave perks, like new benefits tied to that enclave, new traits that the survivors have, which is the blood donor trait, and the EMT driver trait. And then each of them also come with their own perks and benefits to have. And yeah, the big reward as part of that mission arc is unlocking the Bloodmobile.
Yeah, so you can see that in the background. It's our sort of custom ambulance that we've always, since we started doing these events with the Red Cross, we've always been giving out that ambulance. But basically, now that it's no longer this sort of seasonal radio command, players can theoretically get this thing year round, anytime they want to, as long as the mission spawns. And
Sorry, I thought you were asking me a question.
Sorry, I was not asking you a question. Actually, I do have a question for you two, though, because as I'm about to run out away from my car, away from my headlights, into some danger, and it's really, really dark outside, and so I wanted to see what can I do about that? Are there new solutions that I can employ?
Yeah, so as the name suggests, a light in the dark, we've been making a lot of nighttime improvements. In the settings menu, it's called Nighttime Boost. Yeah, you found it. And we've basically give you the option now to make night brighter for people that were maybe struggling with the contrast. We've kept the standard though for people that maybe like the previous version, but we've also gone darker. So if you really want to get spooky, then you can make night even darker than it is.
So you haven't gone fully Hollywood night. It's not like it's just suddenly a blue tint on daylight or anything like that. It still feels like night, but it feels like you've brought up a lot of the highlights. So there's more contrast. It's easier to sort of make things out in the darkness, even though it still feels dark, it's a nice balance, between the horrible, impenetrable night we had before and making night just effectively go away, which is sort of the other end of the spectrum. You've got a nice middle slot here, which I think is cool.
Yeah, Andrea, our technical designer, spent ages just finely tuning it to make it still feel like night, but also combat the issues that kind of the previous night brought. So I feel like we've got 3 good options there that would cater to a lot of players.
Right, and then actually, you know what I should do? Let me turn my car back around so that I'm not, or maybe just turn off my headlights, so I'm not as reliant. Because this is what people used to basically always do, is they would just always turn their headlights on and just shine them into a building. But here, it's like, I don't need it nearly as much as I did before. And you also made some changes to the flashlight.
Yeah, we give it a big boost. It felt like it was just lacking a little bit. Now it kind of feels a bit more like a flashlight. It's a lot more useful as a tool. And yeah, for me, it ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who've been playing the game a lot, just turning on your flashlight, it made a slight impact, especially for something that was very close to you, but you couldn't really use it to light up a room from the entrance. And now you can see this almost looks like I've got car headlights pointing out of my character, which is really, really nice. This is going to make a massive difference to especially exploring interiors at night. Okay, so I'm going to go and fight some more infestations, but April, let's go back to you, because that's kind of the whole point of the deal, is to be talking to you about this stuff. So So how often does the Red Cross actually partner with games or just with groups like ours to try to do promotions like this?
We have a lot of partnerships throughout the year. Undead Labs is pretty unique in that it is one of our biggest gaming partnerships. And it's helping us reach new audiences. For the Red Cross, I know we don't like to think about pre-COVID times, current COVID times, all of that, but before COVID, about 25% of our blood donations came from high school and college blood drives. And for many of us, myself included, blood donation at a high school blood drive, it was a reason to get out of class, and it was our first experience with giving blood. And because of the pandemic and school shutdowns and back to school procedures and protocols, we lost a lot of that. So these kinds of partnerships really enable us to reach younger, more diverse audiences. From a diversity standpoint, we also during the pandemic saw a steep drop in blood donations from, for example, the Black community. And that's important because of patients with sickle cell disease. Patients with sickle cell disease, which is the most common inherited blood disorder in the United States, depend on very specially matched blood donations. And 1 in 3 Black individuals could be a match for someone with sickle cell. So it's really, really important for us to have these kinds of partnerships so that we can help grow the number of people who are donating. We can introduce it to people who may not have considered it before. One of the top reasons people don't give blood is because they just didn't know the need. As a result of that, even though more than half of the population can donate, only about 3% of the population in the US actually does. So these partnerships enable us to be able to bring our mission to gamers, to different audiences, to try to increase the number of people who are giving blood and saving lives.
Only 3%. That's that feels like such a low number, but it's like, especially considering just the need. Do you want to talk a little bit about like other reasons why, like, other, like, how what is the need for, what is the scale, I guess, is what I'm asking,
Yeah.
of the need for blood donations?
Every 2 seconds, someone in the US needs blood. So every 2 seconds, and that is astounding. I mentioned earlier a car accident. Someone who is in a car accident could need up to 100 units of blood just to save their lives. When you think about that conversely, that is 100 people, up to 100 people that one patient is relying on to survive a car accident. And that need doesn't diminish. During the summertime, we've had this partnership twice now in August. And the need does not diminish because of summer breaks or vacation. However, what we are seeing and what we're seeing right now, in fact, I mean, let's face it, it is hot. It is hot anywhere you go. It is hot outside in the Northern Hemisphere. And those are the kinds of things that can actually cause blood donations to drop. When people are staying inside because they've got heat advisories or heat warnings, they're not going outside to do routine things, including giving blood. The other thing during the summertime that kind of falls into it is vacations. People are thinking about vacations, taking time off work, spending time with their kids if they're out of school. It's young people, young adults are out of school during this time frame. So there are a lot of factors that can not necessarily increase the need for blood, but make it more difficult for the Red Cross to meet the need that exists.
So yeah, actually, one thing I'm really curious about is like how long can blood be stored after somebody gives blood? Like, how long can that blood stick around? Like, are you able to hold on to it for a while, or does it, like, do you need a constant influx of new donors all the time in order to keep up the supply?
A lot of people are surprised to learn that blood is a very perishable product. It has a shelf life of only 42 days. Some products like platelets have a shelf life of 5 days before they have to be transfused to a patient. Because blood cannot be manufactured, the only source is a volunteer donor. There's a constant need, and times like now, it can be a critical need when we just don't have as many donors turning out.
Okay, one thing I need to probably do at some point, I want to show off. Actually, maybe I can do this. I noticed earlier my character does not have powerhouse, and I tried to grab a zombie from the front, and I failed. And that can be tough sometimes. Except I've got this partner. You know what? I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to show that in advance later. This guy's gonna kill any zombie I get too close to. So let me go resolve this mission with this guy by driving up into the hills. But actually, you know what? One thing we probably could do to sort of show some more stuff from Update 37 is have a look at the curveballs menu, because I think we've got a couple of active curveballs right now. We've got one. We've got missing a few. We got missing a few bolts. And we've also got a zombie on my truck. Maybe I should get somewhere a little bit safer before I start just opening menus up. Yes. Die to my toy magic wand. I'm going to go inside this room here. I think that I'll at least be able to hear it if zombies are coming. Here, get inside. Oh, you can stay outside. Whatever. Do what you want, man. All right.
Rude.
So we've got the curveballs menu here, and you notice that during my session for the past little while, I've gone through a whole bunch of these curveballs. Now, let's say that either I'm not as interested in playing with curveballs with this campaign, or maybe I'm like I got soft skins and dulled senses. I'm getting a lot of curveballs that are making the game easier, and maybe I'm an advanced player and I want the game to actually be making it harder. What can I do? Historically, I haven't had a lot of control except just turning them on and off. Like, tell me what to do here, John.
Yeah, previously that was the extent of it. If you didn't want to play with curveballs, there was a little toggle in the menu. But now we've introduced a lot more settings and controls for the player. So if you can access settings now from this page by pressing is it C, I believe?
Yeah, and it's also clicking the left stick if you're on a controller.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it brings up this new pop-up. You still have the toggle, so it's here now. This is not in the settings anymore. It's toggleable through this menu. And when you turn this on, it activates all these cool new settings and features. So we have frequency, we've got balance, and we've got impact. So frequency basically allows you to change the frequency of these curveballs coming in. Previously, it was kind of like a rate that we defined. Now you can make them continual, so they're just constantly pouring in. Or you can turn them off completely as well via this, or they'll never appear from this moment onwards. That's actually our toggle. I got confused. The actual enable curveballs, the enabling the settings, and then never is toggling them off. So if I wanted no curveballs, I enable the customization, and then I bring this all the way down to never, and you'll never get a curveball anymore. And then balance underneath it is you can define if you want positive curveballs or negative ones. So if you just want a challenge, if you're on lethal, and you go, lethal's too easy, I want even more of a challenge, then you can turn this all the way up to negative only, and you'll only get negative curveballs. And then impact is a little bit more vague in its description, but basically what it does is it defines how strong those curveballs are going to be in the session. So, and you can define that for both positive and negative ones.
So because I've turned off positive's grayed out, but yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't apply. But if you put up the impact for negative curveballs, you're going to make the modifiers stronger. If they have a range, they're going to be a lot bigger. If they have a time duration, they're going to last for a lot longer. So yeah, the presence on the session is a lot more impactful, which is why it's under impact. And I think with a lot of these combinations and changes, you can really adjust sort of like to cater you for your play session.
Cool. Let me. I've got a couple of questions that are coming in from the chat. Let's see. So let's hit the ones for John and Ian first, but then we've also got a couple of questions for April. So actually, first, somebody wants to know what difficulty zone I'm playing in. So right now I'm playing in Dread because I don't want to be, just murdered every 5 minutes while we're distracted. But I do often play on Lethal, but for right now we are playing on Dread. And then Zuzzle QT wants to know. That Bloodmobile mission, the one that that I failed to get to spawn this morning. If you do play for a while, can it spawn multiple times for the same community, or does each community get one crack at it?
If I remember correctly, it's set up in a way so that it will only appear once per map. So if you've kind of already had your moments, had your time with it, if you were to move map again, there's a chance that it could appear again. But also, whilst you will be given a Bloodmobile during that mission, if you continue the arc, you'll eventually unlock benefits to unlock a new radio command, which is the EMT vehicle delivery command. And then through that, you will get a random chance of either an ambulance or a Bloodmobile on using it. So there's no real too much pressure on building up a fleet of Bloodmobiles or anything like that. You'll always kind of have them available to you upon unlocking those benefits and perks.
I think that is exactly what Zuzzle's ambition is to build up a fleet of of that stuff.
I think if I'm right as well, I think we've prioritized the mission for this update, haven't we, Ian? So there's a higher chance you're going to get,
Yeah, so there is a higher chance that it'll appear. It does have priority over everything else. I mean, if you want to boost your chances for it to appear, you should kind of clear out the map a little bit. Leave some space for the, some play space for the Enclave to get settled and things like that. It's the best chances of getting them to appear.
Oh, good. It's a munitions person. Nice. I need one. Yay, I've recruited this person. Anyway, another question that we had, Paroxicus wants to know, like, since we've got all these new sort of basically difficulty customization settings, he wants to know, do any of them affect any achievements? If we change the curveballs to be all positive or all negative, does that affect anything in the achievement list?
I don't believe so. No, I don't think we're touching anything to do with achievements in case we would break it, but no, shouldn't have any impact on achievements.
All right, looks like my mission here requires me to get rid of an outpost. That's fine. I've got a lot of medical outposts. No offense to the Red Cross that I'm getting rid of my medical outposts. I've already got another one. It's redundant. It's okay. So yeah, so one question that was raised for April. I'll switch back to that discussion. With many people who donate, some may not even know that they have a pre-existing condition. What safety measures does the Red Cross provide to ensure that patients get safe blood?
So I'm going to explain a little bit about the donation process for this and what happens after it. So whenever you come in to donate blood, first of all, you need to prepare. Make sure you're getting a good night's sleep, drink a lot of water, have some good, nutritious, iron-rich foods. A little pro tip, consume iron and citrus at the same time, vitamin C in particular, because that's going to help your body absorb iron better. You go in for your donation. Yeah, right? It's like a little
There's lots of reasons to want to know that, even not giving blood. That's great. You're just a fount of information. Keep going.
Yeah, I could keep going. So you come in to give. First of all, hopefully you have gone to that redcrossblood.org/SOD website. You have scheduled your appointment. You're at the donor center or the blood drive. Before that, there is a rapid pass. The rapid pass is a questionnaire that helps us determine your eligibility. It's going to ask a ton of different questions about pre-existing conditions, activities. Last year, the FDA rolled out brand new individual donor assessments. What this means is everyone gets asked the same questions, regardless of gender, regardless of sexual orientation. Everyone is asked the same risk-based questions to determine whether or not you're eligible. When you come in to donate, you present your little Rapid Pass QR code. We're going to bring those questions in. We're going to check your blood pressure, your temperature, your hemoglobin, which some people think of as your iron levels, and you give. The actual donation itself is only about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. So, it's over fast. That your blood is going to go to a processing center. We're going to break it down into different components, red blood cells, platelets, plasma, all of that. And every single unit goes through a series of infectious disease testing. We're checking for HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, a string of infectious diseases. We also do nucleic acid testing, which detects HIV at the nucleic level. It can actually help us identify HIV within just days of a potential transmission. So the blood supply is as safe as it has ever been, and blood collectors in the U.S., the Red Cross, and the FDA are committed to making sure that patients continue to receive life-saving blood and that the process is safe for donors as well.
Oh, that is good to hear. I'm definitely feeling a need for safety right now. So,
I mean, I'm trying not to watch the screen because every time I do, I'm getting distracted.
This feral's trying to murder me. All right, come here. There we go. Got it. Oh, but they're all oh, see, speaking of infectious diseases, I'm slowly getting more and more blood plague as we go. I'm trying to, if I can annihilate. There we go. Annihilated the plague heart. Knocked out all the nearby zombies. Whew. Oh, man, I love the dread zone.
Those ferals. Anytime I encounter a feral in this game, I get stressed.
Yeah.
They make me panic.
I'm just relieved that, because I've been playing primarily in the lethal zone lately, I'm just relieved that those guys didn't have armored heads. And that when I took out that plague card, it killed all the nearby zombies, which is, not a thing I could have done in the lethal zone. One thing I want to go do is I want to go and find a zombie that I can... Oh, hey, there's a zombie right there. So I had been playing for a while with powerhouse characters who can just grab any zombie from the front. But most characters can't do that. If I try to grab this zombie, my character bounces off. And historically, that's been a really rough thing to run into in the middle of combat because it leaves you vulnerable for a certain amount of time and zombies can just wail on you. Like this. But one thing that you've just added is if I hit that, I can dodge out of it really fast, which used to not be possible. But now basically right in the middle of that animation, I can dodge and get out of this zombie's way. And so it's not, it would have already hit me and probably given me blood plague by now. But there you go. And I think you also did that with locked doors, is that right?
Yeah. So I mean, historically, like even myself personally, I had no idea for a long time, and this is gonna sound so silly, that you couldn't back out of a locked door animation. I don't know what it was, but everything that came to my head intuitively to press it where it was not responding in the way I did. So we've updated that mechanic now. So, you know, as soon as you just try and exit like a locked door interaction, it just kind of responds as you would expect. Like it feels a lot more intuitive just to cancel out of that now by just trying to walk away.
So if I encounter a locked door, and the problem is it's very unpredictable when you're going to encounter a locked door, I will definitely try to get out of it so people can see that in action. Ah, bloaters. Okay, so since I'm about to go in and fight a plague heart while nearly completely infected with blood plague already, I'm a little scared. And so one question I have for you, April, is what should people do if they're scared to give blood? Because, I mean, I know I'm, like, freaked out by needles. I absolutely hate the idea of something jabbing me. What should people like me do to sort of deal with that?
That is one of the most common fears we hear, is that people, I'm afraid to give because I have a fear of needles. Interestingly, oftentimes coming from people who have a lot of tattoos, which, by the way, if you have a tattoo, more than likely you're probably able to donate. There are 10 states in the U.S. that don't regulate their facilities at the state level. Those are the only 10 states where if your tattoo is applied there, you're not eligible to give. But back to the whole, how do I get over my fears? First and foremost, if you can, bring a friend with you. It's always, when you're doing something that you're afraid of, it's always a lot easier to do when you're doing it with a friend or someone you care about. When you get to your donation, let the staff know, hey, you know, this is my first time giving blood, or maybe it's my 10th time giving blood, but that doesn't mean I am any less afraid of needles. They will take care of you. If you are donating, so there's a little thing called applied muscle tension. And if you are donating, I have a friend that every time she gets a little lightheaded because she's one of those, she's not a big fan of needles. But you can use applied muscle tension where you like cross your legs and kind of squeeze your thighs together and hold for a few seconds, and you keep doing that. That's actually also going to help you. So if you are donating, that fear is getting to you, that's going to help you. And it also kind of preoccupies your mind, so you're not concentrating on the actual, needle stick itself. Don't look at the needle. I mean, that's a really good tip. Just don't look at the needle stick. I personally have donated platelets over 100 times. And I have to tell you, sometimes I go in, I don't even feel the needle at all because our staff is so good. So let folks know that you might have some apprehensions. Bring a friend with you. Listen to some music, listen to a podcast, audiobook, music, whatever, to preoccupy yourself. And keep in mind, it's only 8 to 10 minutes that you're on the bed actually donating. And after that, your donation could help save a life. So 8 to 10 minutes can help save a life, and that's pretty astounding.
So John and Ian, one thing everyone probably saw me do this. I was thinking, okay, I need to take this character home. She needs a rest, and I need to switch out with another character. So I marked my home, but that's not necessary anymore, is it?
No, you don't need to do that anymore. We've got an icon now on the mini map that always tells you where your home is, because I think we were getting a bit frustrated because I'd always like to mark an objective on the map, but then I need to go home, and I was like, okay, I can't remember where I'm going on the map or where my home is, so I had to always put a mark on the map like most players. But with this, we now have a constant mark on the minimap to always tell you where your home is, but you can turn that off via the settings as well. So if that's not really for you, or you find it too cluttersome, yeah, it's optional.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed, the color you chose for it, you basically chose the same green color. People can look at it on my mini map right now. You chose the same green color that is used for like your possessions on the map, which is kind of cool. Not only because it clearly matches the icon on the map, but also it's a more subtle color. Like the bright orange and the bright yellow of the usual markers, they really stand out. But if you want to just glance at the map and not really be distracted by it, the more subtle green color really does sort of make it disappear in the background. I only see this little arrow when I'm looking for it, and then other times it isn't really distracting me too much. So yeah, once I get home, we've got another couple things we want to talk about. But let me see here. So one thing that we were thinking about asking is like right. So right now, this promotion that we're doing, it's only open to U.S. residents, right? Like we're only able to sort of give handle the giveaway that we're doing and everything with U.S. residents. But how should people think about this if they live in other countries? A lot of the people watching this stream right now, including two of our guests, are from countries that are not the United States. So if somebody's from someplace else, what should they do? How should they approach this news?
So it's important to remember, I know people in the international blood collection community, and it's important to remember that blood is needed everywhere, every day. If you're eligible to give, or if you don't know if you're eligible, find your local blood donation organization, check out their eligibility online, and make an appointment to give. I can say with certainty that blood is in constant use. And again, oftentimes people think about accidents, the unexpected. Those can happen at any time, but it's also given to cancer patients. A lot of folks with cancer who are going through really rigorous chemotherapy, they need blood and platelet transfusions just to continue to get their treatment, because it can zap the bone marrow where a lot of these blood cells are produced. So it's really, really important, wherever you are, find out how to donate blood in your local country, here in the US, the American Red Cross, because it is needed and it is in constant demand for both the unexpected reasons as well as those that I wouldn't say is predictable, but isn't quite as alarming and flashy sometimes as a great accident. So
I think one of the things that I think some people really like about playing games in settings like State of Decay is that idea of being sort of like part of, like, I don't know, this is a universe where most of the people in the world have not been able to survive, and only a handful of people have been able to sort of band together and just sort of through their willingness to sort of support each other and build something that is stronger than anything that any of them could do by themselves. This sort of small group of people have been able to make a difference and keep humanity alive. And I feel like there's a similar thing going on with blood donation, where there's like you said, it was only 3% of people are blood donors, but that 3% of people, when the rest of us suffer accidents, when the rest of us suffer various medical misfortunes, it's those 3% of people that are keeping humanity alive effectively. And so I don't know, it's an interesting way to think about it. I think that a lot of folks who are into zombie games are into that idea of wanting to be part of that group of people who through their compassion or through their ability to build something that's bigger than themselves, they are in a position to kind of to save other people, and being a blood donor is that same thing, but in real life. Because the zombie apocalypse, I hate to break it to you, it's not going to happen in real life, but this is happening in real life.
Yeah, well, and that's what I love about the partnership that we have with you all, is that it brings the gaming community, particularly the State of Decay community, that is already so reliant on each other. They're trying to save humanity. And it is bringing that to real life. It is bringing that out of the game and giving people a way that they can give back in an incredibly meaningful way in person, in real life. And it will help a patient. The cool thing, when you donate with the Red Cross, after you donate blood, a couple of weeks later, you're going to get a notification of where your blood went. So you'll be able to see what hospital received your blood donation as long as that hospital has opted into the program. And it's kind of cool. Like I love going to some of our social media pages and seeing where people are like posting screen grabs of their map, because there's like a little map in the blood donor app where you can see little pinpoints of everywhere it's been. And it's really cool to see people who are like, my blood has traveled farther than I have. So it really
cool.
gives people a tangible way to see their impact.
So, yeah, speaking of people helping out each other, so I've got this character who's been my follower for a lot of this, for a lot of the mission, at least I was playing through early on. And one of the actual difficult things in State of Decay, one of the accidentally difficult things, has been finding characters to be your follower. If I wanted a particular character as a follower, I have to run around and try to find them in the base, and it's not even a guarantee. They'll definitely be spawned in at the time. But Wushu, your team has added the ability to do that, and actually, I've encountered an interesting problem that I think some of our audience probably will too.
Oh, no.
You look at the bottom of the page, enlist follower. That's a new option now, but it's unbound. What should I do? What do you think?
Was it in? Was it me?
So, should we open up the settings menu? So should I try to bind it myself?
Sorry.
Go for
I
it.
thought you were going to take it, John, for a second. But yeah, I mean, by default, it might just be an issue with it being unbound. So it should be a bindable key somewhere in the settings.
So if we look in here, we could probably find it. And if we can't, I'm betting that if I hit the reset button, that'll work. But let's just scroll down here and see if it's here. I don't see it yet. Toggle community screen, open curveball settings. All the way down. Ooh, deposit rucksack is unbound. Wait, when? Oh, interesting. I don't even remember that being a thing. It looks like... Oh, here we go. No. Oh, enlist follower. Unbound. So I can choose a button for it to be. I'm not sure. What's the right button for it on controller? Do you guys remember?
Oh, the controller. I was playing PC.
I'm very much a
I'm trying to remember.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Actually, you know what? Okay, why don't we cancel this? Let's revert control settings to default. I gotta fix my camera. And then let's scroll back down again. Oh, come on. Come on. We can do it. We can do it. We'll get down to the bottom again. Let's see what it actually got set to, because I wasn't sure. I wanted to go through these steps live because I know every time we make a change to the interface, it's very common for players to run into this problem. Okay, it looks like it's set to X by default. So it's very common for players to run into this problem where, because they've already saved a key bind, there's basically a file saved on your machine that's remembering your key bindings. And if you've made any changes to it, it's difficult for an update to come in and then edit the key bindings because you've already got them saved. And so if you've been playing the game for a long time, it's very common for new features like this to show up without a bound key. So now that I've actually got a key bound to it, so that's how you fix it. You go into the control menu, you can reset it, or you can manually bind it to a key. But now I can hold the X button, and I can make Frasier my follower. And so now Frasier, she was somewhere on this base. And if I'd wanted her as a follower with the old ways, I would have had to go find her myself. But now she came to find me, which is very, very convenient.
It's also
And
a
then as you're
minefield
trying to find her. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, what?
It's a minefield to try and also decide on what new input we should make for something, because there's so many other slots being taken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
no, actually, Cogs, who is, he's the guy who's been mentioning multiple times in the chat that even though the patch notes say that the radio command to call in the Bloodmobile is tied to a hero bonus, he's saying that it's not, that he's tried it out, so he's trying to issue a correction to the patch notes. He also, whenever he's watching my live stream, he talks about the fact that you guys were forced to change a couple of the key bindings in the supply locker earlier on. I think you rearranged a few things so that like repairing was more consistent and stuff, but like take one is now on LT, whereas it used to be on Y, I believe. And he was like, you changed my controls. But that's just, I mean, that is sort of part of what has to happen sometimes. Like when you're, you got to reshuffle a million things just to make one thing happen. And there's no good choices a lot of the time. Like it's either make the change that somebody won't like, or, or don't make the improvement that you're trying to make. And it's, I don't know. Updating a live game, especially years after release, and when you're the second studio to work on it, I mean, that's got to feel, stressful.
Yeah, we try and choose the safest options, and obviously everyone has their own preferences, so all I can say is, we're sorry.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, obviously, I totally understand. So I'm not throwing the criticism, but yeah, I'm glad that I'm glad that you all are doing this stuff, because honestly, the quality of life improvements you've made in Update 37 are things that I've been telling people, like on these live streams, man, yeah, we should totally do that for a really long time, and we have not done any of them. And you basically went in behind us and cleaned up the mess that we left behind. And I really appreciate you putting in the hard work to make a lot of this stuff happening. So somebody in our audience has a question for April. They want to know, can a smoker donate blood?
Yes, a smoker can absolutely donate blood. There's a few different things that people pretty routinely ask in terms of usage types of questions. Cannabis use does not defer you from donating blood. You just simply should not be under the influence when you come in to donate. Smoking does not defer you. Most medical conditions, or I should say many medical conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, those also are not going to defer you from giving blood. So as long as you are healthy, feeling well, weigh at least 110 pounds, in most states you are 17 or older. Some states require parental consent for 16 and under. You might be eligible to give. And as I mentioned earlier, more than half of the U.S. population is eligible. Sometimes people think, oh, I was deferred years ago because my iron was low or for this reason or that reason. A lot of those are likely temporary. So always give us a call. If you visit redcrossblood.org, we've got a number to 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can give us a call to check your specific situation. You can go online to redcrossblood.org/SOD. From there, you can get out to the eligibility requirements to get like a basic overview of what eligibility is. But again, we want to encourage people to come out and give. And if for some reason you think you might not be eligible, dig into it, give us a call, and we'll look into that for you.
Okay, I was about to take a little break, but I think I got to deal with the fact that there's ferals chasing me. Hold on a second. I'm getting blood plague. Speaking of infectious diseases. All right, I think. Okay.
I don't think we test for that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Somebody did ask.
One other question about
can we donate if we have blood plague? And I would say probably no, but also the answer to can you get blood plague is also no. So I think we're probably
good news, bad news.
Oh, Revolutionary War zombies. Love these guys. They're my favorites. And they're dead.
I only ever seen them once.
Yeah, well, I mean, we hide them from the British. We don't want to get in trouble. So let me just end this nonsense. Okay, I'm going to get up in my car. Wait, one of those zombies dropped a grenade launcher? Guys, I love what you've done with infestations.
Wait, I don't think that was us.
Oh, that was right before we switched to you. That was Eric's team right before we switched to you guys. That's right. Okay, well, anyway.
I'll take credit for that one.
Okay, well, either way, I can't believe I just got a grenade launcher off the body of a feral. That was amazing. Okay, well, let's take a little break here because we said at the beginning of this live stream that we were going to be giving away this right here. In fact, let me just switch to, you can see me a little bit closer here. This is a 14th gen Intel Core i7 processor. There's actually 3 of these available. 2 of them are for if you go to redcrossblood.org/SOD, sign up to give blood, and then go out there and show up to make your donation. That will enter you in a giveaway that could result in you getting one of these processors. In addition to, like April was saying, either a gaming mouse or a gaming headset, or instead of this, if you're a console gamer, maybe you can end up with, an Xbox 360. And I mean, 360. What? How old am I? An Xbox Series. And the modern Xbox. You will get the latest Xbox and a controller. And so, but if you want to just get one right this minute, you can get this one by knowing the answer to a question. So I said at the beginning, April has been talking, through a lot of facts about donating blood, and one of those facts, if you caught it, is the solution for signing up for this. So what you need to do is first in the chat menu, type the state that you're from, and that's because we can only offer this to people in the U.S. Sorry, it's legal stuff. It's out of my hands. But if you're a U.S. resident, you can get this. So type in the state that you're from, so we know that you are a U.S. resident, and then after that, type the answer to this question. And the first 24 or so people who get the right answer will be entered to receive this. We want to make it random a little bit because we know you all have different internet speeds, and so just the first person might just be the person with the fanciest internet, and that wouldn't be quite fair. So the first 24 or so people will be entered. So ready for the question? The question is, and remember, this is something that April told us. In fact, I made sure that we said it multiple times. What percentage of people in the United States actually donate blood? So remember, we said this number multiple times. What percentage of people actually donate blood? So give that answer. I can see that some of our international viewers are actually giving the answer anyway, even though they're not eligible. I understand that. I appreciate, it's good to show off that you have this knowledge. It's very important information. All the stuff that April has been sharing with us is very important information. So remember, if you don't, it doesn't count if you didn't say the state that you're from. So only the people who are saying the state that you're from and the answer are going to be entered. So Heather is going to be tabulating this stuff, and she is going to get back to us with an answer. But while we are waiting for that to happen, let me switch away to the Liverpudlians, and let's see if there's anything that we wanted to go over that we missed during this gameplay. So we talked about. Oh! I know something we can go look at this in the game right now. This is one of my favorite things, and I completely forgot. By the way, redcrossblood.org/SOD. I meant to have this URL on the screen for way longer, but it's up there now. Look at this. I'm driving the Trumbull 4x4. Now, a while back, you all increased the inventory spaces of all of the vehicles in the game, except for 2, because our data structure is garbage and they were hard to find. But so this is a Trumbull 4x4. It is identical to the Burninator, which is another truck of about this size and scale. They were missed originally, but now instead of 4 slots, they got 8 slots. It's not just these. There was another vehicle that you guys also amped up. What was that one?
John, you're gonna have to take over. I can't remember the specific vehicle.
It was actually the Bloodmobile and the ambulance as well. Yeah, they got missed out. They're kind of like vans, right? They had 9 slots or something. It was criminal, we had to increase that.
So it's funny, the idea of 9 being criminal. 9 used to be our maximum, but now being limited to 9 feels criminal. And so you raise it up to 15, just like any van. So basically, you get an ambulance or a Bloodmobile, and you're up to 15 like a van. And similarly, you grab this. This used to have only 4 slots, and I remember that because. I used to be driving around all the time because this is one of my favorite vehicles to drive in the game, but it was then hindered by the fact that it was one of the ones that didn't get the trunk expansion. So now this one has 8 slots. So that's good to know. What else did we miss? We talked about the nighttime settings. We talked about the curveball settings. Oh, there are a couple of new curveballs. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that while we're wrapping up the giveaway?
Yeah, we've got 2 new curveballs that we're introducing with this update. So the first one is called Bangonomics. I'm not sure how well that translates, but it basically just means... I was
trying to figure that out. Is it about sausages? Like, what is that?
Well, a banger is a really old car, right? So, and Bangonomics sounds like economics, so it's the cost of keeping an old car running. Yeah, that's what Bangonomics means.
Yeah, by the way, I just absolutely love how English our game is becoming steadily over time. Like I was mentioning to you guys before the stream started that I was playing one of your missions, and one of the characters said whilst, and I was like, whilst? Oh wow, where did this character come from?
Off. I get all the old English coming in. So Bangonomics is a curveball that affects vehicles. So in the setting, the heat is gathering, it's making it harder to run those vehicles, it's affecting their performance. So the curveball affects things like their maximum speed, their acceleration power, their braking power as well, their handling overall. It just makes vehicles a lot more difficult to drive, which creates interesting scenarios when you're trying to escape from zombies. Your car might not even start. It takes quite a while for it to turn over, so we have like the engine ticking over, waiting for it to go, which adds a bit of stress when you have zombies climbing all over your doors and the bonnet.
So what about Smokestorm, the other one?
Smokestorm, contextually, there's a mysterious explosion from a town maybe 5 miles away, and it's brought in this smoke, this mist into the world. So it really lowers the visibility. And because it's quite a thick plume of smoke, of grey smoke, it affects your stamina, and it affects your fatigue, I believe, as well. But yeah, most importantly, it just makes things harder to see.
I think I recognize this disaster from RimWorld. It's that they have a very common event that happens there like that. That's cool. And then I think you also amped up. I think you also amped up a couple of the more dangerous ones, right? The Gargantua and Black Heart are also a little different now.
We introduced an objective for the Gargantua mutation just to give you a reason to maybe go hunt it. So you'll get some prestige if you bring down a Gargantua Juggernaut now, and with a Black Heart, I've got to check my notes because there's quite a lot of stuff in this update. For the Black Heart, we adjusted the damage thresholds, so you get a bit more feedback when you're destroying the Black Heart because it was a little bit tough to know how much damage you were doing. Yeah.
And finally, this is a big one for me. It's one update that I've been wanting to make to this game since literally update 4 or 5. I think it was update 5. I think that was the first update where I was like the designer in charge of it, and this is the first thing I wanted to add to the game, and I was told no at the time, and I've been wanting it ever since, and I just have never been able to get it onto the schedule. And we didn't demonstrate it here because I was just playing too well. But if you get a character killed, and they turn into a zombie, there is now a coffin icon on that character on the map, so you can find them. Thank you so much, Wushu, for doing that. It makes a huge difference. And I'm going to hurry us along a little bit because we are running out of time, and we should really announce the winner to this. So let's see here. So it looks like the winner of this processor is going to be TieBaby78 from Texas. So TieBaby78, congratulations. It was 3%. That is the number of people who donate blood, or the proportion of people, I guess, who donate blood in the United States. TieBaby78 is the winner. So please send an email to social@undeadlabs.com. That is social@undeadlabs.com. Identify yourself, TieBaby, and Heather will talk to you and work out how to get this to you. Congratulations, and thank you everybody who paid a lot of attention to what April was telling us about donating blood. And if you didn't get it this time, you know what you can do. You can go to Red Blood. Wait, what is the URL? redcrossblood.org/SOD?
That is correct. Yep, you can visit redcrossblood.org/SOD, make an appointment, type in your zip code, find a location near you, and make sure you're prepared, bring a friend along if you need to or just want to, and we are excited to see you next month.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, April, and sort of giving us a rundown on all of this stuff. And also just, thanks to your whole organization for participating with us, for inducting us into this process. It's something that matters a lot to us as a studio, and I know it matters a lot to a lot of people. And so I'm really glad for your openness to letting, weirdos like us with our zombie game come and participate in your really, really important work.
I love a good zombie game. Zombie anything, I'll take it. But we really appreciate you. And again, this kind of a partnership, I cannot underestimate or understate how important it is to helping to bring in new folks in the door. That is going to help us save even more lives in the future. And I know that saving humanity is what you guys are all about.
Well, thank you so much. And I should also give a big thank you to our friends from Liverpool, John and Ian, you and your entire team. Thank you so much for putting together Update 37 and all of these. Basically, like I said, just cleaning up our messes behind us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's super fun to work on this project and this game. And we love the community as well. Yeah, having a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, with that, let's wrap this up. So yeah, get to the Bloodmobile. Go open Update 37. You can either go to redcrossblood.org/SOD to enter in, to sign up to donate, enter into that giveaway, or inside the game we've got QR codes that'll get you there as well, and we've got the Bloodmobile itself. Go out there, get it. There's a bunch of prizes associated with it of all types. We're just excited to have you here, and go out there and do some good.